How are you? What's up? How are online classes going?
Great. They're so fun.
Yeah, I agree. They're a rough time, but thank you so much for, taking the time to come on here today. Well, we've got some people coming in. I'll just reintroduce myself. My name's Hailey Parker. I am a reporter broadcaster for PackTV, and this is a new episode of the Check-In. And today I have Izzy from Women's Rugby, and we were supposed to have Carly, but she couldn't come last minute, which is totally fine. But I was really excited to hear from someone from Women's Rugby because we talked with Men's Rugby a while back when we first started the show. But I don't really know a lot about women's rugby, and I don't think a lot of other people do either. So I was really looking forward to hearing from you guys. So yeah, thank you again for agreeing to be here. So I'm just going to jump right in. So can you just go over how you became interested in women's rugby, where you first heard about it or saw it? Because I don't know a lot about rugby, and I don't know if it's more prominent, like in just North Carolina, or if it's more common in other states or anything like that.
So I personally first heard about it when I was a little bit younger because my mom's best friend in college actually played rugby. He was a part of the men's rugby team at ECU. But I still didn't really know what it was until college. And I went to the, what is it called? For all the sports during Welcome Week.
Oh, Breakfast?
Yes, Rugfest. I don't know why that slipped my brain. But I was actually going for lacrosse, and because I played lacrosse in high school and I really liked contact sports, and I ran into rugby people and started talking to them. And then they're like, just come to a practice. It'll be fun. And I was like, why not? It's college. I'll try something new.
Right.
And then I just fell in love with it. And that's honestly how most people start, especially on our team, is very few people play before college, especially in America, because it's more of a European sport.
Right.
So there are like leagues here and people that play here, but a lot of people on our team personally joined in college. And so we have a bunch of babies that are learning how to play for the first time, which is really fun because we all just kind of learn together, not really know what we're doing until clicks, or I still feel like I don't know what I'm doing half the time. But
well, that's interesting because, most people with club sports like lacrosse, for example, most of them had played like most of their life or in high school at least. So that's awesome. Are there a lot of other college teams around here that have women's rugby club sports?
Yeah, so we are a part of the, I believe, Blue Ridge. Is it Blue Ridge? So we play our like friendlies, which is just kind of like a practice game.
Yeah.
Is ECU and Chapel Hill are normally who we play, and then we play all the way up to Virginia Tech, and then we play all the way down to Clemson.
Wow.
I'm trying to think of who else we played, and then we also played, not Clemson, USC. Did we play Clemson? We did play them. Sorry, one of my roommates is actually a player. She played
cool.
club rugby, and so is Carly. We all ended up living together, so I'm fact-checking myself with her. But there's a lot of the D1 like schools around here have teams. Some of them are really competitive and very like practice every day or like 3 times a week. Like Virginia Tech is an incredible team, and they are like hard all the time. And then there's also teams like ECU who feel more like babies like us, where like some of the team are amazing and incredible and they can run circles, and then the other half is like brand new, learning how to do it for the first time. Like it's kind of fun though, because playing the hard teams around here, it's like you see how amazing and how cool it can be, and then playing the other teams, you're like, oh, thank God, it's not just me that doesn't know what they feel like they're doing half the time.
That's fun though. It's more of like a community, it's not all about like winning, I guess. It's more about having fun too. So.
That's something that's so fun too, is I've never had like been friendly with a team after a game before rugby, because like in high school when I played lacrosse, like it was always competitive. Like I was friends with players, but I wasn't friends with the team. It was like just very serious, very competitive. But the most amazing part about rugby is as soon as that game's over, it's like we're all friends. Like we can hang out together, we can like go eat together. Like it's so cool just to be able to, a person you don't know, the only thing connecting you is college and rugby, and then you all end up hanging out for 2-3 hours, becoming friends with them after the fact. And it was the first time I've ever experienced that. It was so just like weird to me, but also like so cool to just be friends with people because you have one thing in common.
Right, and now you all live together, which is even better. You found some roommates out of it. So, can you go over what position you play? Because again, I don't know much about rugby. I don't even know if they're like our positions. Like, so can you just go over, like what you do?
We separate into kind of like, it's not offense and defense. We call them forwards and backs. So your forwards are mainly your like go hard. I don't want to say go. It's like typically more like tackle, short range running, not a lot of passing. And then your backs are more of your long distance, your sprinters, the people that do all the tricks with the balls. So we switch up it's kind of weird because everybody does offense and everybody does defense, which is a lot different than most sports.
Yeah.
But it's more your forwards, who we call packs, do your like short distance stuff, where your backs do more of the long distance stuff.
Okay.
Which I really like because I feel like it also allows people to really shine in their area, because I know people that are long distance that they're great at offense and defense, so now they don't have to pick. They can just go hard in one area, where other areas like your packs typically tackle first because they're the closest. And so it's nice because if that's what you're good at, that's what you're good at. You don't have to go hard the entire time. And then we have 15 different positions, wow, but I will not go into all of those. But mainly the separation is forwards and backs.
Okay, that's a lot more intricate, I guess, than I thought. That's really interesting. Yeah, sounds fun.
Yeah,
it's So as I have done a lot of these like check-in episodes, I've learned that a lot of club sports, their seasons have been moved to the spring. Do you guys usually play in the spring anyways, or do you play in the fall?
We play spring and fall.
Okay.
So we have canceled our season, which stinks. But it'll just make the spring more exciting. So
right. So it has been moved to the spring for sure.
Yeah, we're not gonna really do anything for the rest of the semester. We might do a couple like Zoom calls or like long distance socially, but actual as a team, we're not doing anything. It's more of just people on the team hanging out.
Yeah.
The actual, like, we won't have any more official events.
Okay. So I was gonna ask how that's affected the team. Like, it's probably really upsetting, especially like for the seniors, stuff like that. But at least you do get to play in the spring. So has anyone voiced anything? How they felt about it?
We actually were doing socially distanced workouts where we were all like, it was really funny to look at, but we were all like 6 feet apart in like a big circle doing like yoga or something like that. Oh. And we had the last one the same week that they announced we were moving online, but we had already decided before that was going to be our last one.
Okay.
And it was kind of like the somberness of the end of it was really just like, it's upsetting because, yeah, you know, you want to see people and you want to hang out and you want to be active. But at the same time, we, as a board and as a team, just decided like it's much more important for us to be healthy and to be safe, right, and to be alive than to take the risk just because we want to throw a ball around or just because we want to work out. So it's upsetting, but there was nobody like irrationally upset, or nobody was like really mad. It was more just kind of like, you know, it stinks, but we can still socially distance, hang out, we can still Zoom each other, we can still be a team in the friendship sense without being a team in the physical sense, which is really nice.
Yeah. Is there anything are you guys going to start practicing again like in January, like when the spring comes, or can you do anything like individually up until then?
We haven't really decided yet. I think we're still waiting. We're probably going to wait till later on just to see how things on campus are and to see how we are in general, like how's COVID doing, how are people doing, where are we at. It's kind of hard to say if we'll actually have like go hard or anything like that in January just because it's been so long since we practiced, but I know we have been like encouraging each other just to like stay active, and I'm sure we've talked about doing a couple of like just getting people out of the house, doing some kind of like workout challenge, but it's hard to tell now. It's really early. Hopefully, we're really hoping, but you never know.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask one more important question. It just came up. Oh, are you guys doing tryouts? Like now, maybe later?
We don't have tryouts. We kind of just, everybody, you can join if you want. I'm sorry, my dog is.
Oh, it's okay. Hey.
We don't have tryouts. It's just anybody that wants to join. You got to pay dues, and that's it. And even if you don't pay dues, you can still come socially hang out with us. Like, obviously not right now, but in the past year, like, even if you don't want to pay dues, you can still come hang out with us. You can still practice with us. You just can't do physical contact because we have, like, an insurance we need to do to keep people safe. But if you don't pay that, like, you can still, or if you don't want to pay that, you can still be a part of, like, what we do, which is, again, really nice. I honestly think we're one of the few, or I don't know, I can't speak for other teams, but I know for me personally, like, it's the first time that I feel like we're more kind of like just friends that do a sport instead of sport and you become friends kind of thing. And it's nice because it's kind of come as you are. Anybody can play, any body type can play. Like, you don't have to be super fit or something like that to play, which is great. So yeah, it's nice. Anybody can play, anybody can learn to play. So it's fun.
I love that. It kind of takes the pressure off for people too, especially maybe like freshmen coming into school. Like in your case, you know, I would probably be a little nervous about stuff like that, but you guys seem really welcoming, which is super awesome.
Yeah, it was nice, especially as a freshman, because I kind of felt like I didn't really have that many friends from my hometown. I only knew one person really that from my hometown that was here that I was friends with. So it was kind of like I needed to find my place almost, and like within the first like couple of weeks or even like maybe a month or two of playing rugby, it's like I felt like I had friends. Like literally one of my roommates now also was a freshman the same time I were. We started at the same time, and it was just kind of like we ended up being friends because of the sport, and like it's nice. It kind of feels like there's not the pressure of you have to be the best or you have to do super great. It's more of just like play, have fun, learn some new things, and we'll figure out what we're doing along the way. Like, it's nice.
Yeah, that sounds, compared to like other club sports here, I mean, of course they like want to be competitive and they also have that like team bonding on like the outside of the game, but I'm getting positive vibes from women's rugby right now and I'm really liking it.
We have the most positive vibes. I mean, obviously we want to win. Who doesn't? Yeah. And we want to be, we'd love to be the best. And I mean, personally, I think we are. But I just think it's always more important when you're doing something like a club sport. Like, I personally chose not to play in college because I didn't want the pressure of that competition, of the commitment to be the best always. And I feel like that's something I got with rugby, is where I still got to play a sport. I still got to feel like I'm good at something and I'm working out, but at the same time, I'm not having to put all this energy that I don't need to put into that's unhealthy. It's a very like healthy, happy environment, which is not something I feel like you get to really experience with sports a lot of the times because there's so much pressure to be the best.
I absolutely agree. Well, that is fantastic. So I feel like this episode is also a good follow-up because the last episode of the check-in that I did it with Emily Peterson of women's hockey. And I feel like you both are kind of the same in that like a lot of people don't know that there's like a women counterpart to the male like sport. Like a lot of people know there's men's rugby, women's rugby, but there's not women's hockey and women's rugby. So you've kind of touched on this a lot, which I love, but I was going to ask you what you love most about women's rugby at NC State, and do you recommend it to people who are interested in the sport or even just, you know, like you said, wanting to join a team but without the pressure?
It's hard to pick one thing I love the most, which is super cheesy, and I hate that it sounds so
But
cheesy.
That's good.
Yeah, but it's, like I said, I've met my roommates and some of my best friends through it, so it's hard to pick one thing. But I have to say probably, like, if I had to pick, like, one quality of it, is probably just, like, the acceptance of the rugby community as a whole, but especially NC State women's rugby, is just, it doesn't really matter, like, your gender identity or your sexual orientation or your physical fitness level. It's come as you are, and we'll get you where you need to be. You'll have people that love you. You'll have people that support you. And it's such a weird thing to find in a sport, I feel like.
Absolutely.
And I recommend it to literally anybody. Anybody that wants to join rugby, 10 out of 10 recommend it, especially women's rugby. I have to rep the team, obviously. But I just think I might be a little biased, but I personally think it's the best. I think it's amazing. And I think anybody can find something in the sport that they're going to love, or a person in the sport that they're going to bond with. And I think that's great.
Oh yeah, that sounds amazing. You've sold it to me. I will join women's rugby tomorrow. Like,
we have an email list. Sign up. We'll put you on that mailing list. We're the greatest in the world. Anybody's welcome to join.
So that was all the questions I had, but what I was going to end with was how can people contact you guys if they are interested?
There's a couple different ways. We do have multiple social. Probably the best way would to get on our mailing list, which is ncsu.rug. Hold on, I'll get it in 1 second. But we do also have an Instagram that if you DM us, that we can add you to the mailing list. I can't believe I just blanked on the email. I got it. It's womensrugby.club.ncsu@gmail.com. And you can email us and we will put you on the mailing list. Or you can also DM us, or you can follow us on our socials, which we update relatively frequently of just like other events. Thank you, Amanda, for putting that down there.
She dropped the link.
Yeah, but even if you don't want to join the team, we also post our schedules on our socials. So if you just wanted to come see a game, you can also always look at our socials and find that.
PackTV will be there. We certainly love covering some women's rugby, so they can always watch it through PackTV, of course, as well. Again, that's all I have. But thank you so much for talking to me. I really enjoyed learning more about women's rugby, and I hope that everyone else did too, because it's really important, and it sounds like you guys are fantastic to hang out with. So,
yeah. All right.
So thank you. I will talk to you later. Have a great day.
You too.